Hello, good afternoon. So we are welcome to the first webinar from AACE Netherlands section, Belgium and DACH section. We are currently still waiting for a couple more attendees, so we'll give it a minute or so to start. We know 6 p.m. is a bit of a difficult timing, of course, with dinners and work. And in the meantime, maybe we can introduce ourselves a little bit. So I'm Rens, one of the chairs for the Netherlands section. And with us we have Mirela and Nils from DACH and Belgium. And Joao, who is the director for Region 9, so the director for Europe and Africa. I think the Q&A is opened, Mirela, is that correct? So if there's anything, yeah.
Yes, basically, any questions should be added to the chat. And then at the end of the session, we're going to have 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to discuss with whatever questions you might have. We're available, so yeah.
All right, let's kick off.
Yeah, perhaps if you don't mind, I will suggest, as we are a small audience, maybe we can also allow direct questions, opening the microphone to the people. Maybe obviously I think it will be easy to manage as we are very few for now.
Yeah, happy to do that as well.
Yeah.
Do you manage that as well, Mirela? All right, thanks.
Yep, can do so.
Good. All right. So first webinar from the Netherlands section in cooperation with the DACH section and Belgium section. And we thought it would be a good idea to have an introductory webinar based on basically an introduction to AACE. So yeah, what are the benefits? What can you find on the website? What can you find if you're a member? What are some of the events that are being organized in the next couple of months? As you might know, AACE is divided in regions, and we're all under Region 9, which is I think the biggest region at the moment, Joao. And Joao, our direction for Region 9, will do a quick introduction on AACE as a whole, and then we'll handle some topics by our section chairs thereafter. Over to you, Joao.
Yes, thank you, guys. Thank you for arranging this session. I think it's always good to showcase what we are doing and the benefits of being involved with AACE International. So if you don't mind to go to the next slide. Yes. So I think even though this is an official screenshot from AACE marketing materials, we are definitely more than 7,000 members nowadays. I think we are close to 10,000, or we closed the year very close to the 10,000 members. So we are definitely, obviously, the largest project controls association in the globe. And I believe some of this growing pattern is also related to the Region 9. As Rens mentioned, I would say not the largest region in terms of membership, but definitely a very vast geographical region covering Europe and Africa, including Russia as well. which means sometimes it's obviously difficult to manage and to really to bring everyone together, but it's growing fast. So for your information, last year we closed the year with almost 1,100 members in Region 9, which means the record for the region. As mission, vision, and values, I won't obviously read what you can actually see in the screen, but the goal with AACE is definitely to provide us, when I say us, cost estimations, engineers, project controls, risk people, to provide us with the necessary skill set to execute our tasks. Rens, if you don't mind to move to the next slide. Yes, and it was founded in the United States, as you are probably all aware. But hopefully with Region 9 and Region 10 activity, Region 10 means South America, recent activity, we are obviously expanding and turning it a global association. In the United States, it's a member of the Council of Engineering and Scientific Specialty Boards. I would not limit it to this chartership. I will also mention that we are involved with several other associations in the globe. RICS, we are also a trustee member of ICMS, the International Cost Management Standards, especially related to the carbon capture and the whole life cycle costs with the construction. So we have obviously huge reputation in that regard on the engineering field, on the cost engineering field. And as I mentioned before, we are close to the 10,000 members around the world. Yes, in terms of benefits, I like to once again, rather than reading these topics, I rather mention the community feeling. I think that's probably the number one. Since I've been a member since 2016, since 9 years ago, that I truly feel that more than being just an association, more than just theoretical, having the name of the association, I think we are progressing towards a community where obviously through networking, we meet new people, we share same thoughts, same approach. We share the technical and professional knowledge whenever it's required, and I think that's why we are striving in AACE region 9, especially in Europe, where we keep growing the most. In terms of mentoring, it's also important to mention that we have the mentoring program. I have actually since 2020, I've been mentoring at least one person a year, and all the people that I've been mentoring either became certified CST or PSP. So whenever if you feel that obviously you want to be a mentor or what you want to be a mentee, you can actually apply for that on AACE International website. And then the last item here, also the salary surveys usually demonstrate that the AACE members obviously earn more than the peers, but obviously it all depends on multiple criteria and dimensions that we cannot control. Anyway, summing up everything, on top of the recommended practices, on top of the technical publications, on top of the TCM, the dozens of articles that are every year published, and I would like to stress peer-reviewed articles. not necessarily individual presentations and articles that are published without being without going through an assurance process. I think that definitely provides a big advantage and a big benefit of being a member of AACE International. So moving forward, in terms of companies, the list keeps growing, including across Region 9. You can see here a couple of big names from TNT to Jacobs, Fluor, Bechtel, Skanska, and so on. So the list is really vast. Perhaps if you need clarity on what is an organizational member or public member, drop a line on the Q&A and we can explain that in more detail. But yeah, I think the industry recognizes the value and it becomes the norm, which is really good. And I believe companies and individuals will definitely progress. And rather than reinventing the wheel, we'll start adopting RPs, recommended practices, or articles that are already published. Once again, rather than reinventing the wheel. And I think the last slide from my side today, the symposium. I think after the last symposium in the region, which I believe back in 2016 was just called AACE Region 9 Conference, we decided to go ahead and really execute this idea that has been in the paper for several years. Even though it's only with the logo AACE Region 9, this would not be possible without the support of the different sections. We also, on the 17th of March, obviously in London, in person, we are expecting, or at least I'm expecting to see more than 80 to 100 people. The venue has a seated capacity of 60 people plus 60 standing, so 120 roughly. And we are expecting to be, if not fully crowded, we are definitely having some great numbers. I can obviously, in the end, during the Q&A, provide a little bit more details. And hopefully we will see some of you guys in the call in London or in any of the following webinars that we organize over the next few months. So I think it's everything from my side at this moment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joao. And
Thank you.
For clarity, there are still places available for the symposium. Is that correct? Yeah.
Well, we took the decision to not, even though on our registration form and app, we did constrain and we put the limit. We keep increasing the limit as we go. So there are still places, and somehow we will manage. If we have 150 people, we will manage to squeeze everyone in. So we are not too picky on the limit for now. So whomever wants to join, we will find a spot.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Then I will talk a little bit about what makes AACE worthwhile for me. So basically, I became acquainted with the AACE a couple of years ago, and particularly with the recommended practices. And recommended practices, these are peer-reviewed and published documents, usually around 10 to 15 pages, which provide technical reference information regarding specific competency areas, and it's vetted by a rigorous review process. And I wanted just to highlight a little bit of this review process, because I think that's what makes it really powerful. If you use the methods in one of the RPs, you know that it's been reviewed by a lot of experts around the world. There's over 100 RPs at the moment available, They are available to AACE members for free, but for non-members, I think they pay more or less what you pay for a membership. So that's makes it worthwhile to consider a membership as well. I'm a planner by nature, so my RPs that I go to are mostly the planning ones, like prospective time impact analyses or risk assessments, and also there is RPs on how to do constructability reviews on schedules, how to include adverse weather in your schedules, and then likewise also for cost estimating, cost control. There's a lot of detailed information available. And the next couple of minutes, I would like to talk a little bit about how an RP is developed and what the guidelines and what process is followed before it is a published RP. And AACE being AACE, we have a different RP for the development of RPs, which is available on the website. And these are basically the 4 development guidelines. So it should be professional, so peer-reviewed, fit for use. So it should address the practical needs of the professional community. You should be able to access it and actually use it in the project you're working on. Benchmark practices. This is what I like myself a lot. It's a lot of RPs you will see there's different ways to do something, but then there's also a comparison made, so you can actually make a decision what to apply in what situation. And then it's summarized as defined terms, and it should be consistent with the cost engineering terminology RP. But there's a lot of effort being put in place to make sure the RPs are consistent with each other. So they're always following the same set of information. Then the process of making an RP, and the process is a lot bigger in this development guideline, but I just highlighted some of the main steps. So after the need for an RP is identified, a scoping document is made first, which is basically a mandate to develop an RP. So it very concisely describes the content and the objectives of the RP. That needs to be approved first before the full RP is developed. Then the RP is developed by a task force consisting of members from the AACE. Once they're finished, there is a review by the technical subcommittee from the AACE. So that's an internal review, which basically is aimed at making sure it's consistent with all the other publications. And then it's up for public review, where members and also non-members from AACE can provide their comments on this new RP before it gets published. And this public review, it looks a bit like this. It's basically just the AACE forum where a new public review draft is posted with please provide comments, and everyone can just in this draft document provide the comments for the task force and to include them in the draft. Then when it's published, it's usable for everyone. There's often webinars organized, which are called a Spotlight on RP, and that's basically an hour where one of the task force members usually explains what's in the RP, what's changed compared to previous versions, etc. So make sure to follow the LinkedIn pages to see if there's anything interesting for you in the coming months. Now I hand over to Nils, who's going to talk about certification.
Hi, good evening. You can skip to the next slide already, Rens. So AACE is quite known for its certifications. Basically, there are different types of levels of certification. So we have the technician level with the certified cost technician and the certified schedule technician. These are entry-level positions. Then you have a professional level. This is for which has the cost professional, estimating professional, earned value professional, and the planning and scheduling professional. This is for the more people with more experience in the field already. And then you have the expertise level certification. These are the certified forensic claims consultants and the decision and risk management professional. On the next slide, I will show. I will give a quick update on how who can certify. So for technician level, as I said, is for the entry level engineers. Basically, you need to have 4 years of industry related experience or 4 years industry related degree. And of course, you have to adhere to the AACE canons of ethics, which is important for all certifications that you have to comply with the way AACE wants to work. Then the professional level is designed for experienced practitioners with advanced knowledge and technical know-how. Basically, you need 8 years of industry-related experience or 4 years of industry-related experience on top of 4 years of industry-related degree, and also adhere to the AACE canons of ethics. And then the expertise level is designed for senior level practitioners and specialists. The list of things you need to comply to have expertise level is longer than what's mentioned on the slide, but it comes down to you need 12 years of experience, but also one of the things that's also necessary that you have a letter of recommendation by peers that vouch for you that you have the expertise and the experience you are claiming, basically. Being certified, if you have experience in the field, will give you already a big step ahead in being able to get your certification. Other than that, there are also study guides for each entry level or professional level of certification. And that in combination with what Rens just mentioned, the RPs are basically a backbone for getting certified. Other than that, we have online courses hosted by the AACE itself. They are self-paced courses for different types of certifications. And also there are several approved education providers. There is a list on the AACE website as well from the approved education providers. They do in-person teaching sessions or online teaching sessions. The last time I checked, I didn't think we have any approved providers within Netherlands, DACH or Belgium region. So that's something that if you want to do that, then you should maybe go to the online providers as well. On the next slide, you can see there are being certified is basically doing an examination. These can be done in a testing center. This is in person. There are several around the world where you can do the exams. And with when COVID hit, they switched to online proctored exam as well. That's type of examination. Then you have to have your webcam on. You have to show your desk that you are not cheating, basically. But it gives you the comfort of doing the examination from your own home. For the results, it's the CCT and the CST have immediate results. For the other examinations, there is a delay of several weeks because each of professional examination has a section of writing a technical memo, and the technical memo have to be reviewed by several people. And there is also a fixed structure in when the review will be done. I think it's every 15th of the month. Everything before that will be reviewed, and it takes up to 2 or 3 weeks after that to get your examination results. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. Certification has a limited time. I think the most certifications have a duration of 3 years. After this period, you can recertify. There are several types of doing so. One is recertification by CEUs. And these are basically points that you can earn by being active in the community. And then you get recertification. So you can, there are 4 topics within the CEUs. Performed is basically, if you work in the field, you can earn 6 CEUs with that. Professional development, have you done trainings within AACE? Industry contributions, if you're active, if you write paper, something like that, then you can earn CEUs as well. And then also the volunteer services. That's something that Mirela will go more in depth in her presentation. But I noted also behind everything the maximum amount of CEUs you can earn for each topic, and you need 12 CEUs to be recertified. If you don't want to do it like that, you can recertify by doing your examination again. On the right-hand side, you can also see the fees that are mandatory to be eligible to do the examination. So depending on the level of certification, there's different price attached to it. I noticed that the CCT and CSP, the technician levels are not on there, but they are cheaper than the professional level and the expertise level of certification as well. And I would like to give the word to Mirela to talk about volunteering.
Okay, so hi, I'm Mirela. I am the chairwoman for the DACH section, DACH standing for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. So currently we are 7 to 8 volunteers in the leadership team, but the DACH section counts at around 100 registered members in the AACE, more or less. But we are obviously open to welcoming more people from the DACH region. For me, I discovered AACE, a little personal background, when I was doing my PhD in process systems engineering and cost estimation. I discovered that cost estimation is not, there is a community behind it. It's quite interesting that cost estimation for the process industry, the only community of professionals we can find is within the AACE. I haven't found something similar. Of course, there are other professional communities, but for this specific topic, AACE was the right ground for me. It's quite interesting that after so many years that I can finally I am able to volunteer by the expansion of Region 9 and give back to the community. So coming to the topic of volunteering, so why volunteer? Why give your time to the AACE? I think it's for both reasons, for both personal and professional growth. Volunteering within the AACE is, of course, to network on a professional level, build a community of other professionals, like-minded professionals, exchange on specific subject matter expert topics. Rens was sharing RPs for scheduling. We have RPs on so many other aspects of cost engineering, such as estimation, claims and disputes, or contracts, or even, from the different types of perspectives in the industry, from the owner's perspective, from the contractor's perspective, or from the construction company's perspective. So it is very important to know that there is a community to whom we can reach out to for your technical questions, but also not only to share, but to learn. I've been surprised so many times how many times I've been learning and learning from colleagues abroad, from from worldwide on new aspects to see cost estimation or develop new systems for cost estimation. Advance your career, yes, you can grow. Obviously, the more you meet people, the more ideas come to our minds, and the more human relationships are being built, which means that yes, new career opportunities arise. As Joao showed in the first slides, there is a wage advance of people that are certified or members of the AACE. I have found out throughout my career personally that when trying to employ hard cost estimation guidelines or new procedures, using the AACE as a reference point always gives more robustness to what to the message I'm trying to put through different organizations. Volunteering also it means leading teams. I'm gonna come back to the details on what it means to lead as a volunteer within the AACE, but it definitely means leading a group, leading an effort. So it is a very, very good exercise for management, either time management or people management or ideas management. But for me, most of all, AACE, volunteering in AACE means being involved in fun and social activities. I see AACE as a creative platform for people in the cost engineering field to become influencers, for other people to join the field, especially for young generations, and show the cool aspect of working in the cost engineering, the total cost management field. So yeah, it's a very, very nice community to be involved in. Can we move to the next slides? Yeah. So an AACE volunteer, we can be volunteers in section or committees. So basically, region 9, the AACE is divided in regions, as we saw in the first slides, and every region is broken down into sections. One way to volunteer is to be involved in a section. Another way is to be involved in a technical committee, for example, scheduling committee, estimation committee, and be involved in writing recommended practices, or even in being involved as a volunteer in the education board and suggesting dissemination activities into academia or universities to attract the younger generations of professionals, of people into the cost engineering field. Another way to volunteer could be also to review the papers. So as it was mentioned, the AACE publishes technical papers which are presented into the annual symposium, annual conference, which takes place every year in June. And these papers are peer reviewed. The peers come from the AACE community, from the members of the AACE. So they are other cost engineering professionals. So which means that as volunteering activity can also be the peer reviewing of an article. Personally, I find it's a very fun activity because you can find out what other people are thinking about a topic, apply your critical skills, and then give your constructive feedback to create a paper that would make sense for the broader community. The general activities of an AACE volunteer are twofold. The first one is strategic. So a volunteer in a section or committee, we represent the broader community of AACE. It is our task to give a vision and give a perspective to where we want the community to go. Since AACE is basically a group of people, the visions and goals change, and it's up to the volunteers and up to us to form them and see how we can move forward. Of course, as I said before, a lot of management is involved. So organizing and organizing the activities, organizing the people, or even the members of each section or committee is part of the volunteering tasks. But of course, communicating with the regional director, for example, communicating with Joao, who's the Region 9 director, or with other chairs. So, for example, this webinar is a volunteering, is an initiative among the chairs of DACH, the Netherlands and Belgium, or with other volunteers from the technical subcommittees, in order to create something meaningful for the members. As an operational, from the operational side of volunteering, of course, we are being contacted. We want to disseminate the message of the activities of AACE. So we are open to, we have to be open to communicate with people that are interested to find out what the AACE is and stands for. We're getting a lot of contacts from people on LinkedIn, for example, which is the major means of communication. Of course, it's our task also to be force of initiative and host events, either webinars such as this one, or in-person meetings, social meetups as we call them. And a very, very important part, always in the AACE, we are for diversity and inclusion, which means inclusive. We are open to promote women in project controls. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in a second. And then, of course, disseminating the AACE and getting the cost engineering profession known to younger generations. Can we move to the next slide, please? So yeah, as an example of the activities that we undertake as members of the Region 9 sections, other regions worldwide. So we organize webinars. This can be a get-to-know webinar like this one, or technical webinars, or the webinar can be the presentation of a paper that has already been presented in the AACE conference. A network event is also part of the volunteering activities. The Region 9 Symposium coming up in London is the work of volunteers, of Joao and a lot of the AACE section chairs. Of course, we want to work with other professional communities. We're not competitive, but we want to create joint activities, such as joint webinars and seminars. For example, the PMI or other professional groups, such as the cost engineering group we have here in Germany. We want to work with them. We're not competitive. Of course, the academic outreach can be done in a local level. So every section is responsible to reach out to universities or academic institutions regionally. So the work is being initiated by the volunteers as well. A very, very important activity, which is close to my heart and actually is growing, is the women in project controls. Women are underrepresented in the project controls field. So there is a special committee in AACE called Women in Project Controls. The head is Stephanie Kurz. She's based in Canada. So there's a very strong community in the United States and in Canada. But we decided, due to time differences, to create a subcommittee in Region 9, which is actually growing. I'm part of it. So if you want to check out what we're doing, please join the LinkedIn page for Region 9 Women Project Controls. So this is another field that that the volunteering is very much welcomed. And can you go please to the last slides? So yes, as Nils explained, the volunteering is rewarded in AACE via CEUs, which allow for recertification points. So so you can see here what is the reward for volunteering. So according to the positions that you might have, you get 1 to 2 CEUs per year. So for someone being been a volunteer in a section in the volunteering leadership can get 1 to 2 CUs per year by participating in the in a technical subcommittee. It's, for example, the scheduling subcommittee. It's 2 CUs per year, and as I mentioned, the peer review of a technical paper of or an AACE certification exam is 0.25 CUs per paper. So you see all these different opportunities that are available for volunteering and are actually the way they are rewarded by AACE. And I believe this is all I had to say. Yeah. So Rens, I give the...
Yeah, thank you very much, Mirela. There were, I think, a couple of questions in the chat, mainly around the approved education providers. So Joao, I think was a question about cost engineering via.
Yeah, I mean, so by principle, if it's not listed in the AACE website, it means that the business is not able to claim being an AEP. In this particular case, I just sent an email with exact screenshots to the headquarters and obviously asking for them to confirm whether or not this is the case. But I do suggest before obviously enrolling with any business to double check on AACE website whether they are official or not. Does not mean that in the past they have not been, but obviously they have a fee that they must pay every year in order to renew that every year or every couple of years. I don't know the exact terms, but there are fees that they need to pay, and there are certain criteria that they need to fulfill in order to have that title. So it's important that, yeah, it's verified with AACE headquarters. Any support, any issues, any questions, you can always message one of the emails that are in the screen, and then we will obviously support that sort of assessment or confirmation.
And Joao, is there a process to follow to make sure that for other education providers to become an AACE approved education provider?
Yes, there is a process. I confess it's a very specific process that you should be able to find on the AEP course providers. I confess I don't know the full process. Yeah. But definitely you need to have some background as a trainer. So you need to follow some criteria in order for you to get approved. But again, anyone interested, we can always email, reach out to us, and we can email the headquarters and we get the exact answer. Yeah, that's actually the first time that someone asks about this specific topic. And apologies, but I'm not the right person to answer to that. What I've seen is over the last few years, the AEPs have decreased slightly. Not sure if it's related with still the COVID restrictions, pandemic period, where obviously perhaps you had less in-person training, and perhaps also with increase offer that you get online through AACE. So that might be related. Yeah.
Anton has a question, so give me just 1 second to unmute. Allow mic and allow camera for Anton, so you can allow camera as well, so we can see you. Anton, and he has a question on why AACE distance themselves from ICEC, the International Cost Engineering Association, but you can actually talk to us more about it if you can hear us still.
Yes, good day. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Right now, I've just been I am a member of AACE, so a lot of what you've shared today is good, and I know about it, and so I support all of that. And yeah, also certified with AACE. But I'm also involved with the Dutch Association of Cost Engineers, and of course we were linked to the AACE through the ISEC. But I was just wondering if you know what the reasons are why, the ambitions of ISEC are similar to what you've sketched in terms of a community, in terms of international connection and networking. And you also mentioned that you want to work with other professional organizations. So obviously, we'd like to talk about that and see how we can align and make sure we can.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Anton. I can actually answer at least based on my own experience. So I actually invited ISEC to be a social sponsor of our symposium in London. It was very difficult to get a straightforward answer. I was referred to, I think, one of the management board that sits in Australia. When I reach out, obviously through ISEC website, and yes, I didn't have any interest or any follow up specifically on whether they would like to join or whether they would like to sponsor. So the feeling that I got actually was pretty much, talking to the wall. That was my first feeling. Regarding to official, let's say, engagement with ISEC headquarters, obviously, headquarters need to speak to each other, even though we are sitting in Europe and we might be able to do approaches and try to collaborate. The official agreements between associations will always be done through headquarters in the States. So that's pretty much everything I can tell you regarding ISEC. As I mentioned to you, I have very recent, it was 4 weeks ago when I tried to reach out, and I faced basically no feedback after my reach out to actually bring them into the community. So if you have more contacts within ISEC, we are really happy on Region 9 to collaborate, to start organizing conferences together, webinars together, workshops together, no problem at all. We are doing that very successfully with PMI and APM. For your information, last evening I had a 1 hour call with PMI Europe. So soon we'll be reaching out to every section chair to start engaging with PMI on a broader scale across Europe and Africa. We want to do the same with APM in the UK at European scale, and we are happy with ISEC, we are happy with DACE, but I can definitely tell you that either ISEC, either DACE, we've never got any openness to actually get engaged, but we tried. So that's the message that I want to say. We tried, and actually, since my term, since March 2022, that has been my approach. We are open to collaborate with everyone. We want to work with everyone. We want to. We are not fighting for memberships. That's not our intention. We are actually fighting to share knowledge, to create community, to bring everyone together, no matter what's your background, no matter what is your association, and we do that every week, every day. At all levels in all countries. That's what I can assure you. APM, PMI, IPMA in Germany, as we spoke in the past, Association of Engineers in the UK, Association of Engineers in Portugal, RICS, ICMS. We are definitely there, completely open to work with everyone. Unfortunately, we don't. Another example that I can bring to the table, CIOB. We reach out, we didn't get any feedback. Same with ISEC, same with us. Maybe we reach out to the wrong person. That's also a possibility. So if you have contacts there, please share with us, and we'll make sure that we start engaging.
Yeah, sure. I'll certainly do that, and I hope to see you on the 17th in London. So
Perfect.
We can maybe talk then. Be great.
Yes, perfect.
Good.
Yes, I saw your name on the registration list, indeed. Yeah, good. Good.
Okay, there is another question from Goraf. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. So give me a moment. I just have to unmute so you can talk, raise your question. Goraf, unmute, allow mic, allow camera. It's about the CEP certification and getting some online courses. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I just want to ask what I just said for CEP on the AACE portal. Is there online seminars or means study material along with recommended practice? Is there any, or through private we have to just refresh ourselves for the examination? Yeah, on this slide it is mentioned online courses, self-paced courses for CCP, CSC, and CEP. So it is on the AAC portal or it is outside?
It's on the AACE website. Yes, I will search the link and I will provide you the link to the course.
Okay. Thank you. Understood.
Also, Gaurav, 2 weeks ago in the DACH section, we had a webinar which is available on YouTube. I will put the link on. 2 of our members sat the CEP exam 1 month ago. So they're talking about how they prepared themselves, what they had to study, how much they had to study. I'll just put the link now on the chat. So
I joined. I think Varun from UK. I joined that webinar. I joined. I think.
okay, okay. So if you know, that's already good.
Yeah. Anyhow, I will again go through that YouTube link. Thank you.
Great. I don't see any other questions. If somebody has a question, they can raise their hands. I'm missing out something.
Let me raise hand then. I was wondering for the audience what more technical topics they would like to see in the upcoming webinars. So it's our intention to organize something like this every 2 months, 6 weeks or so. So if there's any pressing topics that we want to know more of, or that we want to invite someone, then please let us know.
Yeah, I think also if you don't mind, Rens, I will just mention that as you explained very well the RPs process. Yes, if you also have any ideas for RPs, you can also reach out to us, and then we will forward to the technical subcommittee. Or use my AACE actually to publish directly there on some posts, and people definitely will look into it and will help with the process. I have recently gone through that process of applying for an RP, and everyone is really helpful.
I have a question. So basically, it's maybe Joao, do you want to do a closing remark for the upcoming London symposium before we close the session? What we would expect? Something more?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is the theme of the conference, of the symposium?
The theme?
The theme.
The theme. Sorry. No, I think. No, thank you, Mirela, for touching that point. I mean, we can always, once again, we can always write down and stress the points on the theoretical perspective. But I will tell you my true theme and through feeling as well for the conference, which is basically an outcome of the work and the support from everyone, from members, non-members, volunteers, that we have faced in the last 3 years. So what I'm expecting is definitely different from what you can find on regular, project controls conferences. And I do expect, obviously, a lot of networking, a lot of good technical speeches that will then obviously be wrapped up on a panel session. The technical speeches, obviously, they cover anything from data and digital to cost engineering to cost estimation, even mega projects and net zero context in the UK. But then obviously the networking opportunities are immense, and we do want to celebrate these last 3 years of work that we have been together as volunteers and as leaders in London. Obviously, what I'm really keen to is to speak with members, to listen to them, and I think all the chairs that will join us and vice chairs that will join us in London will be listening to the reality, face-to-face conversations, and then to take some ideas and some insights to the next few years, to the next year, perhaps the next symposium as well. So I think the example of Anton here talking about AACEi, it's something that I want to discuss. Not only AACEi, we will have different institutions joining us, from RICS to the Royal Institution of Civil Engineers in the UK, IPA, APM is also coming. So yeah, I'm expecting to give a lot of attention to and a lot of listening time to the people that will join. I think that will be the most important part of the symposium, in my view. It's space for us to communicate, space for us to talk, to listen, and to generate insights to the coming months and the years. Yeah. The link is also here in the chat, so anyone that still wants to register and join us in London, feel free to do that. As we started saying in the beginning, there will be space for everyone, for sure. Even if we need to do rotation, there will definitely be space to everyone.
All right. Thank you very much to all attendees and presenters. I think this brings an end to the webinar. And feel free to reach out with any requests for other topics, any questions, remarks. We're open to anything. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.